Hey everyone, you're here with Mark Batwell at perfectgardens.com. So today we're going to be talking about what is the best soil to grow in. Let me start off by saying opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. And that's the same thing with soil and what is the best thing to grow in. I'm 35 years old and I've been watching my father grow his entire life. I am a second generational big ag farmer. My mother and father helped develop the systems and processes for harvesting, packaging, and distributing lettuce worldwide for large corporations like TNA, Bud Annell, and Driscoll. And over the years of watching my father farm, whether it was in my backyard or whether it was in the fields, whether it was me getting into it as I grew up and he taught me it, we got into cannabis together. What I began to realize a lot about soil and what was ideal, it wasn't a brand name and it wasn't peat moss or cocoa or hydroton or the soil you get at your local recycle center or whatever. What I came to the realization really around what's ideal to grow in is living soil. And if you are listening to this video, you probably have heard different things about it. Microbiology. If you don't know what it is, it's basically bacteria and fungus and trace minerals, and all these things work together, and basically the plant talks to the soil because the soil has all the nutrients it needs, and because there's a large amount of microbiology going from bacteria and fungi, they are communicating, the soil and the root system, the plants are all communicating together to go and retrieve the minerals that the plant needs. And that's basically what living soil is. That's what I've come to the realization is what really actually matters. It's not whether you go and buy the nice stuff in the bag. Will it help? Yeah, of course. It's lighter. You're going to save your back. Maybe there is amendments in there like earthworms castings and mycorrhizae or different types of amendments in that soil that you're buying at the store that's going to make it a little bit more enjoyable for you to garden in. Absolutely 100%. And I'm letting you know, I have bought my fair share of soil. Although after I have bought my soil, I don't keep buying more soil. I just amend that soil I have and I keep reusing it, and the soil just gets better and better. Really funny story, back in 2012 when we ended up getting in trouble for growing cannabis, and still up to today we still have the largest indoor growing facility for growing cannabis that has ever been discovered or rated, basically, before the industry became legalized. And besides going back over there and grabbing our ballasts and our hoods and taking things down after we got in trouble, one of my major concerns was to actually get all of my soil. I had spent 4 or 5 years of energy amending that soil, picking it up, adding mycorrhizae to it, adding different bags to it, putting the soil back into bags and reusing it to grow cannabis. And I put so much tender love and care into my soil, I was going to go and get it all. I wasn't just going to leave it there, and it was an asset. And that's really what your soil ends up becoming in your gardening. It becomes an asset. The years you spend with your soil, it's only going to get better and better. The taste, the food, all of it, because that microbiology is getting more and more enriched, especially if you're not destroying your microbiology season after season with tilling or dumping fertilizer in and making your soil inert, basically, or void of life. And for me, the ideal soil is making sure that when I'm using it, there is worms alive in it. You know, all the soil, as you can see right here, that I bagged up and brought up to our greenhouse up top, there was tons of worms crawling in it. You know, is the soil heavy? Yeah, of course it's heavy. I didn't buy the most expensive soil. I had a huge grow bed, but the soil is alive, and I know that what I've grown off of it has always been pretty amazing. So what I encourage to everyone out there, if you don't have soil, go buy a few bags, grab something that has some mycorrhizae, some peat moss, something that's not too fluffy. You don't want something that has too much coco coir or too much peat moss. You want something that has some substance and that might be a little bit heavier. Bag I've always enjoyed using is Happy Frog. It's a lot heavier than Ocean Forest. That's a very popular brand out there. 707. You could go to the store. Stay away from the wood chippy material. It still has a lot of material that needs to be broken down. A lot of cellulose material that needs to be broken down. That requires excess nitrogen, which while growing your plants are going to need. And once you get your soil, amend it with a couple things, some worm casting. Maybe go and get a box of worms, throw it in your soil, mix it up, and that's your first year of soil. Then get your compost, and throughout the whole year, keep getting your compost, get some of your soil, throw it in there, and just keep getting the compost going. By the second year, hopefully what you should be expecting is that your soil gets more darker. It gets more enriched, basically. If you are starting off with a store-bought, you'll notice it will go from light to slightly heavier, more dense, and that's really what soil is. It's really funny too. No-tilling planting is a style of farming that is getting fairly popular because we're realizing that the more we disturb the soil, the more it hurts our microbiology and our garden overall. And if we're hurting our microbiology, then we're going to be hurting the taste, we're going to be hurting the yield, we're going to be hurting everything. It's really interesting too, right? You go to the store and you go and buy the nice stuff that's airy and fluffy, and you plant your plants and you give it everything it needs. But then what we're coming to realize is the more we disturb our soil is the more we destroy our microbiology, and we actually hurt our living soil. So once you buy some nice stuff, stop messing with your soil. Once you amend it, don't till it. Get the weeds out, of course, and get the plants that you don't want in your soil growing, get those out of there, but don't till it. Maybe just crack the soil open. I know I've bagged up a lot of soil. That's one thing. If you're growing in pots, it is what it is. But my point is that your soil is living. And once you get it going, you don't need to keep buying more soil. You just got to keep it alive. And that just takes a little bit of tender loving care. And if you go over to the store and you buy Miracle-Gro and you buy fertilizer, it's going to make your soil inert. It's not going to make the microbiology alive. And those are the things that you really just got to take into consideration. Of course, you could go buy the nice stuff, and are you going to see a difference? Yeah, you're going to see a difference in the first year or two. Although year after year, any soil I have, although I guarantee you, the store-bought stuff, if you keep rebuying it every year versus the soil that you amend yourself every year and just keep it going and keep the microbiology alive, your own stuff is going to outbeat the store-bought stuff within the second year. Thank you so much. I hope this was helpful to kind of determine and figure out what is the right soil for you. I do understand you're probably expecting a brand to go pick something up at the store, but that's not really what this was about. This is really about not throwing your soil away, valuing it, caring for it. Once you put that tender love and care into it, keep it alive, get the compost going in your house so that once you buy the soil once, you just amend it with your own materials and you don't keep buying soil again. And I know I'm Perfect Gardens, right? I'm supposed to be encouraging you to buy more stuff, although that's not the proper advice, especially for soil. And I would feel really bad teaching you something other than some of the things that my father taught me that I have come to cherish and value greatly, which is once you buy your soil once, don't buy it again. Just amend it and keep reusing it and just keep it alive. And that's really what's going to matter. Thank you so much, and have a great grow, guys.